I got off a call yesterday with one of my regular clients, and he's somebody that I was working with for quite some time now. He's made incredible progress in his mental health, in his just overall self belief, the stories he repeats, his fears that he's been dealing with. Everything has making fantastic progress. But yesterday's call had an interesting challenge. He presented to me that for the last couple of weeks, he's been feeling dragged down, doesn't really feel motivated to do much, and he's finding it difficult to get back on that horse or get back on the saddle. That sounded weird. That sounded weird to my head for some reason. And out of that call, I shared something with him that I want to actually share with you now that I think a lot of you will actually benefit from, and it can really help in those sort of times. Now, what he was struggling with, he was wanting to, in one of the three channels that I always talk about, having to be clear, concise, and organized, which is your past, the shadow, the present, today, and the future, which is tomorrow, your vision for your life. And then within that category, you have the mind, the soul, and the body, making sure that each of those avenues are taken care of. So he was in the body section. He wanted to start running, and he's running not because he enjoys running, but then again, who really enjoys running? I know a couple people that do, but for me, it absolutely drives me crazy. But he wants to run because it's going to help him build his discipline, his consistency, and he also wants to actually enroll for a marathon, which is really, really cool. But he's been finding that he just cannot get himself to get up in the morning and run. And he's struggling with it, and he's struggling with it. And I asked him, I said, well, how long do you want to run for? And he said, well, I want to run for at least 25 minutes a day. And then I said, okay, well, when you think about running 25 minutes every day, how do you feel? Do you feel excited? Do you feel neutral? Or do you feel like it's just, like trying to muster up all the power from within to get you to do it? And then his answer was the third. It took a lot out of him to get him to do it. And this is the critical point of the conversation that I want to really have you guys resonate with, and it's going to make a huge difference in your life. So whether you're going through identity loss, whether you're actually in the midst of rebuilding purpose back into your life, this process is going to really make a huge difference. But it starts first with do not compare with anybody else when it comes to this strategy, because it's going to be so natural to do that and it's going to feel discouraging. But I urge you to just don't pay attention to that voice in your mind that's going to berate or talk down to this direction. We always, when it comes to setting targets and goals or things we need to do every day, we always set it to the absolute highest level we can. Well, if I want to start running, I got to start running 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. We go nuts with it. If I want to quit something, I'm going to quit cold turkey right here, right now. And for some people that can work, but oftentimes, from my experience, not just with my life, but with clients that I work with, in the long run, it just doesn't work. It just deflates you, and then you get into this state of, I'll do it tomorrow. And then once that starts to happen, then you feel bad for yourself for skipping, and it just starts to snowball. So here is my advice to you. And this is what the advice I gave to my client. What number, what length that you can run, that you can feel right now, if you actually gave yourself that task, you would feel excited about, that you would feel it's achievable. And after going back and forth, we figured out that 10 minutes, 10 minutes of running per day was something that he felt that, you know what, no, I can run 10 minutes per day. That's not a problem. But of course, followed up with that, the mind went, yeah, but 10 minutes is not that long though. And this is where things can be hugely beneficial to understand. It isn't the intensity, the volume of what you do that's going to make what you're doing worthwhile. That's going to grant you this achievement. What's going to grant you the things you want is when you stay just below the threshold where you feel excited to do it. In fact, you almost finish and say, I could have done a little bit more. Stopping at that spot, sorry, my phone just went off there. Stopping at that sweet spot is going to make a world of difference. Why? Because then you will do it every single day. And if it gets incorporated into your lifestyle, then it's not something you struggle with. It's just something you do. It's a part of your routine. And so the first thing was setting a short, small target that you know is achievable, you can do every single day. Number two, then you want to stack a positive, a uplifting, exciting reward post. So I asked him, what's something you can do after your run that's going to really elevate your excitement and get you feeling good and get you excited to run again the next day? For him, it was taking a nice long hot shower. He's usually very busy. He has to rush from one place to the next. And so for him, taking a nice slow hot shower is like bliss. So then I said, okay, well, reward yourself with a hot shower only when you run the 10 minutes. Because what happens in the long run is that if we tend to compartmentalize. We pick habits that we feel is grindy, and we want to think of it as medicine, that if we just take this bad poison medicine, oh yeah, well, over time it's going to be good. In micro doses, yes, but in large doses, consistently, no. You're just not enjoying what you're doing anymore. And what's the point of life if you're not enjoying it? You still have to enjoy. And so by staying below the threshold where you can achieve it, and then on top of that, adding a reward that you can do on top of it, habit stacking, over time, your brain will just mend those two together, and then running will just be something you enjoy. You just love to run. And then as you do that for weeks and weeks and weeks, the 10 minutes will begin to feel easy, in fact, boring. And when it starts to feel boring, like it's not challenging you anymore, that is the sweet spot to then push maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes more to where, again, it's hitting that sweet spot where you're feeling excited to do it. But when you're done, you go, I think I could have done a little bit more. You keep doing that for a year, 2 years. Guess what? You will get to the point where you can run 25 minutes a day and it feels no problem. And it feels easy to you. And so the lesson of this video and what my client took away from our conversation was, it isn't the intensity. It's the sweet spot of proximal development that you do every single day, that you can do every single day, that's going to compound into massive changes, micro to macro. I always say it. I say it in a lot of my videos, small changes lead to big changes. And this applies to everything. It applies to unconscious work, shadow work, ego-soul integration. We have this desire, oftentimes, if we're in such pain, we want to get to that place of pleasure right here, right now. But unfortunately, it never can work that way. And if it does, be happy and be gracious for it, but it's not common, not sustainable. If you want to have a pleasurable life, an enjoyable life, while still making improvements, micro to macro, stay below the threshold. Stay consistent with it. Add rewards. You can add it to the beginning as well. Oftentimes I like to do things before I get into the more tedious tasks. Maybe I'll watch a couple of videos. Maybe I'll read. Whatever it is, I'll do it first, then I'll get into my tedious task after. But what happens over time, that task no longer becomes tedious. Because again, they combine. Your brain can't tell the difference. Eventually, all of it becomes pleasurable. And so take that with you, apply it to your daily life. It will make a massive difference. And remember, this is so key. You do not want to attack. You do not want to criticize and compare that someone else is doing 25 and they're doing 30 minutes and you're only doing 10. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're on your own path, your own destiny, your own journey. If this resonated with you guys and you want to take it a step further, you want to be a part of my community. And on top of that, I finally opened up my calendar for calls now that I can actually meet with you guys one-on-one. And I'm so excited for it. So if you want to go a step deeper and work with me personally on rebuilding purpose, rediscovering who you are, and moving towards an ego-soul integrative lifestyle, and you want assistance and guidance and mentorship on that, click that button below. It'll send you over to my page. pick a date and time, and I'll be looking forward to having a conversation with you and helping you along your path of recovering from identity loss or moving towards an Ego Soul integrated lifestyle. Or if you'd like, you can click the other button below and you can sign up to my monthly newsletter, and I'll send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide as a toolkit to help you navigate through identity loss and build good, strong habits, things that you're going to feel proud of, and things that you can be consistent with. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.